What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Fantasy Hotline, the first fantasy football video of the 2023-24 season. Let's fucking go. It's time. It's time to eat. It's time to win this money. It's time to win your friends, family, fantasy football league, wherever it is you're playing. For today's video, I'm going to give you my personal best way to draft your fantasy football team. Now, very basic video to kick things off for the summer, heading into the season. This is more of a video targeted towards if you're new to fantasy football, if you don't know the basics, you don't know the fundamentals, okay? Maybe you've been playing fantasy football for a while. I think this is still a good, informative video, so tune in, okay? So, first thing first, do your research, right? This means keeping up with the latest news on players, injuries, depth charts, whatever the case may be. You want to make sure you're drafting players who are healthy, starting, and have a good chance to perform well. Next thing you want to do, heading into draft night, you got to make a plan, right? This means deciding on draft strategy that works for you. Some people prefer going running backs early, while others may focus on wide receivers or quarterbacks. You got to do what best works for you, okay? But you got to make sure you have a plan. Have a plan going into draft night, otherwise you're not going to be happy with your team, right? Especially got a few drinks popping left and right. You're kind of just clicking draft player. He looks good. Then your team turns into a circus, and it's not going to be a good fantasy season. So make sure you go in with a plan. Now, when it comes to drafting, don't be afraid to take risk. That's what fantasy football is all about. This means taking a chance on players who may be undervalued, or have a high ceiling. You're gonna have to take a gamble a little bit. That's part of the game, right? It takes money, or to make money, you gotta gamble a little bit especially when it comes to fantasy football, right? So you don't want to take too many risks though, and end up with a weak team. But take calculated risk. Those can pay off in the future, right? It could open the window for trades as well with other players in your fantasy league. Now, another important factor in drafting the best fantasy football team is to avoid any biases, right? This means not just drafting players because you like them. I'm a Giants fan. I like Saquon Barkley. I like Daniel Jones. Now, although those two had pretty damn good fantasy football seasons last year, right? Don't make a theme-based fantasy football team directed towards the team that you like, the team that you root for, because it's not going to be a good fantasy team, right? So put those aside. Don't draft players because you like them. You're going to have a weak team. You want to make sure you're drafting players based on their abilities to perform on the football field, okay? Now then, another thing. Be willing to adjust your strategy as the draft unfolds, right? This means being flexible, adapting to what's happening in the draft. If your top targets are gone, they're gone. Don't be afraid to switch things up and go after different players. Maybe you got the strategy, I want to go running back. That's going to depend on your draft position. Whether you're drafting at 4, at 7, at 9, at 12, don't be afraid to alter your draft strategy. But like we talked about earlier, have yourself a plan. How do I draft if this happens? How do I draft if that happens? You gotta have this shit cooked up in your mind if you want to succeed and you want to get that fucking money, boys, right? You want to win your fantasy league, right? Okay, so drafting the best fantasy football team, it takes research the entire season. It takes a lot of planning. It takes risk taking, of putting those biases to the side, and you gotta be flexible. Shit happens. Players get injured. They look the shit that's going on with Saquon, right? I don't know if Saquon's going to be playing week 1 because he's holding out. Same thing with Josh Jacobs, all these, ballers. I don't know what's going to happen, right? But, you got to be flexible. All right, if you can do all these things that we've been talking about, I think you'll be on your way to building a winning team, having that winning culture on your fantasy football squad. All right? So, again, this is kind of a short video to kick things off for the summer, heading into the 2023-2024 season. I'm excited, I'm hyped, I'm ready to go. Preseason is around the corner. Lots of videos incoming, coming your way. Fantasy football videos, advice, live streams, you name it. I will be here. Your boy will be here, ready to answer any questions. So, hit me up in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, peace out.